How this billionaire family lost everything. The Vanderbilt story began in the 19th century thanks to one man, Cornelius Vanderbilt. He was born in New York to a humble farming family from the Netherlands. Cornelius left school at the age of 11 and began helping his father in the family business, which transported passengers by boat between Staten Island and Manhattan. Legend has it that at 16 he borrowed $100 from his mother to buy a small sailboat, and that by the end of the first year his small business already had 3 ships. At 19 he married his first cousin, Sophia Johnson, and together they had 13 children. With a knack for business, he caught the attention of a politician who hired him as captain of one of his steamboats. With the money he earned, he gradually built up his own commercial fleet, which at its peak exceeded the number of ships owned by the US Army. Cornelius Vanderbilt began to make a name for himself and was even nicknamed El Commodore. But his ambition did not stop there. In the 1850s, he quickly realized the importance of railways for the economic expansion of the United States and sold his entire shipping fleet to launch a railway business at the age of 60. He invested in the construction of train lines connecting the country's major cities and eventually controlled companies such as the New York Central Railroad. His railroad empire became one of the most powerful of its time, as did his bank account, estimated at $100 million, which would be equivalent to $4 billion today with inflation. As a result, he was the richest man in America at the time. Despite his already overflowing bank account, Cornelius was known for his greed and lack of manners. These flaws prevented him from ever integrating into New York's high society. He died in 1877, leaving behind 13 children and a colossal fortune. Convinced that it was better not to divide up his estate, Cornelius left his entire fortune to William Henry, his eldest son, who took over his father's companies and managed to double the family fortune in just 10 years. In 1887, William Henry Vanderbilt was one of the richest men in the world. Unfortunately, the Vanderbilt children and grandchildren, accustomed to a life of luxury, did not inherit their ancestors' business acumen and gradually squandered the family fortune. This was the case for William Kissam Vanderbilt, who married Alva Vanderbilt. The couple sought acceptance in New York's elite but were shunned by high society due to Cornelius's reputation. The Vanderbilts decided to make a big splash by organizing the most lavish ball ever held. To achieve this, Alva had the Petit Chateau built, a sumptuous 130-room mansion in the heart of Fifth Avenue, which took 5 years to complete. On March 26, 1883, a huge masked ball was held to inaugurate it. The entire New York aristocracy was in attendance, and the figures were staggering. Thousands of bottles of champagne, dizzying decorations, tailor-made costumes, all for $250,000, which would be more than $7 million today. The party ended at 7 a.m., and overnight the Vanderbilts became the most popular figures among New York's elite, surpassing even Caroline Schermerhorn Astor, who reigned over New York's social scene at the time. This thirst for recognition would gradually be shared by all the Vanderbilt descendants. Unlike other families of the time, such as the Rockefellers and Carnegies, the Vanderbilts did not take care to reinvest their money in sustainable businesses. From the 1920s onwards, the family fortune began to erode considerably. The stock market crash of 1929 and the Great Depression ruined a large part of the Vanderbilts' investments. However, one member of the family managed to restore the dynasty's name. Gloria Vanderbilt, Cornelius's great-great-granddaughter, who had a difficult childhood and was nicknamed the poor little rich girl by the media, launched a denim collection in the 1970s. Vanderbilt jeans became cult items and sold by the thousands. Gloria moved in high society circles and became an icon of free and independent women. But behind the scenes, her personal life was filled with tragedies. She married 4 times. Her first husband was a violent man who beat her regularly, and her 4th husband, writer Wyatt Emery Cooper, died during open-heart surgery. Then, in 1988, her son Carter jumped to his death from the 14th floor of their family apartment in Manhattan. He was 23 years old. Consumed by grief, she entrusted the reins of her fortune to her lawyer, who joined forces with her psychiatrist, and together they stripped her of her brand and ruined her. Today, despite their lost fortune, the cultural legacy of the Vanderbilts remains strong. The Biltmore House remains open to visitors. The Whitney Museum of Art is among the most famous in the US, and shows like Downton Abbey and Gossip Girl often reference this extraordinary family. Cornelius Vanderbilt, whose statue stands in New York's Grand Central Station, is said to have uttered words on his deathbed that still resonate today as a prophecy. Any fool can make a fortune, but it takes a wise man to keep it.